You know that feeling, that awkward silence after a conversation, maybe? Or you send an email and it just lands completely wrong.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Or maybe you felt like you were talking, but your words just sort of vanished into thin air. What if those aren't just, minor annoyances? What if they're signals of a hidden, much bigger cost, like a multi-million-dollar problem hiding right under our noses?
It's a huge possibility.
Today, we're diving deep into the surprising science of what some call super communication. We're going to extract the exact habits that help some people connect almost effortlessly.
And explore how you can start adopting them, like right now.
Okay, let's really get into this.
Yeah.
We often just dismiss miscommunication as, a minor hiccup, maybe a frustrating email chain.
Right, just annoying.
But our sources reveal something pretty startling.
Yeah.
The real-world impact is way more significant. It's even costing businesses literally millions of dollars every year.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating is just the scale of this challenge. I mean, one study found that a staggering 74% of employees feel like they consistently miss out on vital company information.
74%. Wow.
Yeah. And even more compelling, 85%, 85%. Report being most motivated when management gives them regular updates. So this isn't just about, feeling good at work.
No, it sounds like real money.
It has very tangible financial consequences. There was this big survey, 400 large companies, like 100,000 employees each.
Okay.
They cited an average annual loss of $62.4 million per company.
$62 million, just from bad communication.
Directly traceable to inadequate communication. So it really begs the question, why does this disconnect happen so often? What's actually getting in the way?
That is an astronomical price tag. It makes you really wonder what invisible forces are messing things up.
Okay, exactly.
Our sources sort of dissect the common barriers. And yeah, they're the ones you might expect, but then a whole bunch of others that are, frankly, eye-opening. We can maybe start with what our research calls the big three, the sort of fundamental ones.
Sounds good. So the first are emotional barriers. And these can be incredibly subtle,
Like what?
Like fear of judgment or social anxiety, maybe just discomfort with being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Stuff like that can stop someone from sharing what they really think or even just feeling connected.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you've got language barriers. And that's not just about different languages like Spanish versus English.
Right.
It's also jargon, slang, even different ways people interpret the same words.
Yeah.
And of course, nonverbal cues fit in there too.
Ah, okay. And the third one?
And finally, physical barriers, which are pretty literal. Geographical distance, remote work.
Yeah, everyone's dealing with that now.
Different office locations, or even just accessibility issues that prevent that easy, spontaneous chat that can solve so many problems.
So beyond those big three, what were some of the more maybe surprising obstacles that came up?
Well, what often gets overlooked are the nuances. Like, for instance, just differing communication skills between people.
Right. It's a skill, not just something you're born with.
Exactly. It's a skill,
Yeah.
but it's rarely a focus in, say, performance reviews or company culture development. So you get this widespread inconsistency.
Yeah. Interesting.
Then there are profound psychological factors like high stress, anger, even low self-esteem can dramatically change how open people are to sharing or receiving feedback.
Yeah, I can see that.
And think about the corrosive effect of a lack of trust. When people don't feel like they're in the loop or they don't believe management is being straight with them,
It just breeds negativity.
it becomes a breeding ground for misinformation, rumors.
Yeah.
It creates this whole climate of anxiety.
And it's not always about not enough information, is it? Our sources mentioned a kind of paradox there.
Exactly right. There's this weird paradox of information overload versus infrequent information.
How does that work?
Well, sending too many irrelevant emails or holding endless unfocused meetings, people just start tuning out completely.
Information fatigue.
Right. But then providing too little information leaves people feeling totally in the dark, disengaged, undervalued. It's a really fine line to walk.
Tricky balance.
And cultural differences also play this massive, often underestimated role. Different backgrounds, different experiences, they deeply affect how you prefer to communicate and how you receive messages.
Like directness versus indirectness.
Exactly. What's seen as direct and efficient in one culture might feel really rude in another. And then there's the final one, no personalization.
The generic memo.
Yeah, exactly. When communication is just overly broad, generic, irrelevant to you personally,
Yeah.
it's just noise. You dismiss it instead of seeing it as valuable.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting and honestly kind of hopeful. what if there are certain people, our sources call them super communicators, who just get it? People who naturally create these authentic, deep connections without even seeming to try that hard.
Indeed. And the research is pretty extensive. It suggests this isn't about having some specific outgoing personality type. It's not inherited.
So it's learnable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about mastering a distinct set of learnable skills. Things like asking really deep questions or intentionally practicing vulnerability.
Okay.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, like well-being, these skills aren't just for work. They lead directly to more meaningful personal relationships,
Which we know are crucial.
which studies consistently show are fundamental to happier, healthier, and even longer lives. It's really about genuinely seeing other people and letting yourself be seen.
Okay, so what's the first habit? What do these super communicators do differently right from the start of a conversation?
The very first habit is absolutely crucial. They know what kind of conversation they're having.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, understanding the type of conversation fundamentally guides their whole response, their approach. Our sources break it down into three main types. Knowing which one you're in helps you meet the other person right where they are.
Makes sense. What's the first type?
First, there are practical conversations. This is where people are primarily looking for solutions, for advice.
Right, like, what should I do about my boss?
Exactly. A friend asks, "What do you think I should do about this issue with my boss?" They're looking for concrete suggestions, maybe a path forward. Problem-solving mode.
Okay, practical. But what happens when someone isn't looking for a fix? When they need something else?
Well, that leads us straight to the second type, emotional conversations.
Ah.
In these, the person is seeking empathy, validation, support, not necessarily answers or solutions.
So, like, I'm just so frustrated this is happening.
Precisely. Someone might exclaim, "I'm so incredibly frustrated that this is happening to me." And your role there shifts completely. You're not a problem solver anymore.
You're an empathetic listener.
Exactly. Acknowledging your feelings, not trying to fix them, just creating a safe space for those emotions.
Okay, practical, emotional. But what's the third type? The focus isn't solutions or necessarily just emotions.
The third time is social conversations. These are discussions really centered around how we see others, how we want to be seen ourselves, and finding common ground.
So like navigating group stuff or shared experiences.
Yeah, it could be discussing shared experiences, figuring out group dynamics, even sharing how your own background shapes who you are. In these, super communicators are really mindful of different perspectives and actively look for points of connection, shared understanding. It's about building rapport, understanding social stories.
Got it. Okay, now this next technique sounds almost deceptively simple, but our sources say it can completely change how you're perceived. It's called looping for understanding, more than just nodding, right?
Absolutely. This practice, it seems straightforward, but it truly packs a big punch, especially when things are tense or there's disagreement.
How does it work? 3 steps.
3 steps. First, you ask a question and you genuinely listen to the answer. Second, you repeat back what you heard, but crucially, in your own words, show you processed it.
Okay. Not chat parroting.
Right. And third, this is the step people almost always forget. You ask your conversation partner if you got what they said correct. Did I understand that right?
Why is that last step so important?
Think about it. When we're in conflict or feeling stressed, the other person often wonders, are they really listening or just waiting to jump in?
Yeah, true.
By showing you genuinely want to grasp their perspective, you build immense trust. Even if you ultimately disagree with them, it's about valuing their input first.
So hang on. Even if I completely disagree with someone, just repeating their point back accurately can build trust. That sounds almost too simple.
It's incredibly powerful.
Can you give an example, maybe in a tricky conversation?
Okay, imagine a heated discussion, right?
Yeah.
A colleague says, "Look, I'm frustrated because this project keeps getting delayed, and I feel like my contributions just aren't being valued."
Okay, common scenario.
Instead of immediately jumping in with defenses or explanations, you could pause and say, "Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you're feeling frustrated by the lack of progress,
Yeah.
and maybe more deeply, you're concerned your efforts aren't being recognized." Did I get that right?
You're validating the feeling first.
Exactly. Even if your very next sentence explains why the project is delayed, that initial act of validation, of truly reflecting their feeling, it just opens the door for a much more constructive conversation. It sort of disarms the tension because they feel heard.
That's a really good example. Okay, so you've proven you're listening with this looping thing. How do you keep that connection going? You said it's not about talking more.
It's about asking more. A lot more.
Yeah, our sources found super communicators ask, 10 to 20 times more questions than other people?
That's the stat. But it's not just any questions.
Right, the kind of question matters.
Hugely. They excel at asking follow-up questions, not just out of politeness, but to signal real interest, a desire to dig deeper. And crucially, they ask what are called deep questions. These are questions that invite people to talk about their core values, their beliefs, their defining experiences. That's what sparks real emotional connection.
So instead of, what do you do? You'd ask.
Maybe something like, do you love what you do? What originally drew you to that kind of work? Or in a personal chat, what's one thing you learned from your family that really shaped who you are today? Something that goes beyond the surface.
I like that.
And when in doubt, honestly, the simple, direct question, why, can uncover so much. It helps you truly understand where someone's coming from, like fundamentally.
So it really sounds like the ultimate goal for a super communicator isn't about impressing someone or winning an argument or just waiting for your turn to talk?
No, precisely. The core aim is to genuinely comprehend someone else's point of view first. Get inside their perspective.
And then share yours.
And then, only then, share your own views. But building on that understanding you've just gained, our sources really highlight how this approach consistently creates this atmosphere of trust, vulnerability, openness.
Yeah.
The magic really happens when, as one insight put it beautifully, if you know I want to understand you, you're going to want to understand me.
Yeah.
It creates this amazing virtuous cycle.
Mutual respect.
Exactly.
And, okay, here's another layer to peel back. So much of this isn't even spoken words, right?
Not all.
I mean, think about it. Our sources say over half of face-to-face communication, maybe up to 65%, is totally nonverbal.
Absolutely. Your nonverbal cues, everything from eye contact, subtle shifts in tone, your facial expressions, hand gestures, all of it reflects your underlying attitudes, your emotions, your actual state of mind. And what's really fascinating here is how multiple nonverbal signals, we call them clusters, often work together.
Clusters.
Yeah, like multiple signals happening at once send a much clearer, more powerful message than just one signal alone.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, so a yawn. A yawn might just mean you're sleepy.
Right.
But a yawn combined with glancing around the room, fidgeting in your seat, maybe tapping a pencil.
Ah, okay. That paints a picture.
That tells you unequivocally the listener is disengaged, bored, checked out. The cluster tells the story.
So if your words say one thing, but your body language is screaming something else, that's where things get really tricky, right?
That's precisely when you start sending mixed signals. And honestly, it's a recipe for miscommunication.
Because people believe the body language.
Almost always. When words and actions contradict, the nonverbal cues usually supersede the verbal message in the listener's mind. It just leads to confusion, mistrust, sometimes even feeling disrespected.
Yeah.
You're simply more likely to believe what you see over what you hear in those moments. And this raises that whole important question about cultural nuances again.
Right, because nonverbals aren't universal.
Not at all. What's polite, attentive eye contact in one culture can feel deeply disrespectful in another. Or think about haptics, the comfort level with physical touch.
Like a pat on the back.
Yeah, might be welcome to one person, totally invasive to another. And then there's even chronemics, the timing of replies in a conversation.
The pauses.
Exactly. In some cultures, quick responses mean you're engaged. In others, thoughtful pauses show respect. These unspoken rules are incredibly powerful drivers of how communication feels.
Okay, so beyond the how, the nonverbals, the listening, there's the who. Everyone has their own unique communication style. And understanding these styles, you're saying, can be an absolute game changer, both at home and at work.
Huge difference. Our sources generally categorize communication into four main styles: passive-aggressive, and assertive.
Okay, break those down quickly.
Sure. Passive communication, that's often rooted in a fear of speaking up, leads to misunderstandings, resentment building up, needs don't get met.
Right.
Aggressive is often driven by anger, maybe a need for control. It tends to create hostile environments, shuts people down.
Okay. Passive-aggressive. That sounds sneaky.
It kind of is. It's that blend where there's indirect hostility simmering under a maybe polite or smiling surface, sarcasm, backhanded compliments.
Gotcha. And assertive. That sounds like the goal.
Generally, yes. Assertive is characterized by confidence, but also respect for others' boundaries. It usually promotes the healthiest connections. And this is important, what's crucial is understanding style fluidity.
Style fluidity, meaning?
Meaning the ability to adapt your style based on the context, who you're talking to, what the purpose of the chat is. Even assertiveness can be misconstrued sometimes, right? Especially due to things like gender expectations or cultural background. What looks assertive from one person might look aggressive from another.
That's a really important point. So how do we get better at spotting these styles in other people? And maybe more importantly, how do we make sure our own style is actually working, that it's fostering connection?
Well, our sources point right back to that active listening we talked about.
Okay.
And another incredibly powerful concept, emotional intelligence.
EQ.
Exactly. Emotional intelligence, which covers empathy, self-awareness, social skills, self-regulation, motivation, it significantly impacts how we perceive things, how we interpret them, how we respond.
So higher EQ means better communication.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
People with higher emotional intelligence tend to communicate far more successfully because they can better read their own emotions and the emotions of others.
Yeah.
And that understanding is key to identifying someone else's style without just jumping to conclusions.
Right. So someone being direct isn't automatically aggressive.
Precisely. They might just be short on time, focused on efficiency.
Yeah.
High EQ helps you see the potential intent behind the style, not just react to the style itself.
Okay. And what about using this in our most important relationships, like with our partners? Our sources really emphasize something about daily rituals.
Well, this is a profound insight. Consistent, intentional communication. It truly forms the backbone of any healthy, thriving relationship. The studies are compelling. Couples who actively engage in daily communication rituals are 60%, more likely to report higher relationship satisfaction than couples who don't.
60%. That's huge. And these aren't big things.
No, not grand gestures. They're small, intentional acts that build trust and emotional intimacy steadily over time. Dr. John Gottman, the relationship expert,
Yeah, heard of him.
he emphasizes how these daily positive interactions build up a vital emotional bank account.
I like that metaphor.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? You
Yeah.
make these small, regular deposits of connection, and then you have something to draw on when things get tough during disagreements.
So give us some concrete examples. What might these daily rituals actually look like?
Okay, sure. Think about morning check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Brief, maybe 5-10 minutes. Over coffee, breakfast.
Okay.
The focus is just on positivity, maybe what you're looking forward to, and being really present, like absolutely no phones allowed. Sets a good tone.
Nice. What else?
Then you could have midday touch points. Quick, intentional messages or calls. Just a simple, I love you text, or sharing a funny meme that made you think of them. Bridges the gap during busy days.
Little pings of connection.
Exactly. And finally, maybe evening reflections, a dedicated time to decompress, reconnect, sharing experiences, feelings in a relaxed way, practicing that active listening about their day, maybe even planning something fun together. It's about consciously re-engaging.
And technology, which often gets blamed for disconnecting us, can actually help here if used right.
Precisely. Things like video calls, shared calendars, messaging apps, they can be incredibly powerful tools for maintaining connection, especially, long distance or just crazy schedules.
Right.
The key, though, is to create personalized rituals, ones that genuinely resonate with both partners so they feel meaningful, not like a chore. Make them effective for your unique relationship.
But there's a caution with tech, right?
Oh, definitely. Crucial point. While digital tools are powerful, you have to be acutely mindful of their limitations. Without the nonverbal cues tone, expression intent gets lost or misinterpreted so easily.
Yeah, the dreaded text misunderstanding.
Exactly. So always choose your words with extreme care. Avoid that blaming you language, you always, you never. And honestly, if you're feeling emotional, maybe wait 24 hours before sending that message.
The 24-hour rule. Good advice.
Take a pause, reread it. It can save a lot of trouble.
Okay, wow. We have covered a lot of ground here. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, tuning in? How do we actually start doing this stuff, integrating these insights into our daily lives so they stick?
Yeah, great question. And the goal isn't, to magically overcome every single communication barrier or become some perfect communicator overnight.
That sounds impossible.
It is. People are way too unique and complex for that. Instead, your aim should be more realistic. Minimize the challenges, make a clear, consistent effort, and find ways to streamline your communication. But it absolutely requires consistent effort and, frankly, deep self-awareness.
So what are some key strategies people can take away?
Okay, a few key actionable things. First, always try to recognize generational and cultural differences. This means actively adapting your approach. Don't just expect others to adapt to you. Think about their preferences, their expectations.
I guess feedback loops back in here.
Vitally important. You need to actively gather feedback on your communication. Ask people. As one insight from our sources put it so well, everyone knows it, but you.
Ouch. But true.
We all have blind spots. We're notoriously poor judges of our own skills. So seek out constructive criticism. Ask trusted colleagues or friends.
Okay, what else?
Another critical one, develop consistency. Like building any habit, results don't just appear. Consistent, regular effort, even small steps, is crucial for actually rewiring those behavioral patterns.
Makes sense. Little by little.
And be sure to personalize information and messages. Tailor things. Make your communication highly relevant to whoever you're talking to. And if possible, deliver it in their preferred format. Some people prefer audio, some video, some a quick text. Respecting that preference drastically increases engagement.
So it's about being smart with our tools too, making technology work for us.
Precisely. Use technology wisely. Streamline your tools. Maybe even analyze the data if you're in a team setting, what channels work best. But always be profoundly conscious of that absence of nonverbal cues in digital chats.
Right.
Choose words meticulously.
Right.
And finally, actively encourage two-way information sharing. Make sure communication isn't just top-down. It needs to flow bottom-up, peer-to-peer. When everyone feels genuinely valued and heard, it transforms the whole communication ecosystem. It becomes dynamic, truly connected.
Okay, we've really unpacked so much here about creating habits for better communication. From those surprising financial costs of barriers, all the way to embracing empathetic listening and decoding unspoken cues. It really feels like a true shortcut to getting well-informed about one of the most vital life skills you can possibly cultivate.
I agree. And ultimately, this journey to becoming, let's say, a super communicator, it's less about being some naturally charismatic person and much more about intentional effort.
Right, practice.
Consistently prioritizing genuine connection over just, conveying information. It's really about making other people feel seen, feel heard, feel truly valued. And that builds an unshakable foundation of trust and understanding in all your relationships, personal, professional, all of them.
A powerful foundation.
Absolutely. So, as you go about your week, maybe think about this.
Yeah.
What's one tiny, intentional communication habit you'll commit to cultivating just starting this week to connect just a little bit deeper and feel truly understood?